So the first feature code that we're going to set up is going to be a line feature code. Now a linear or line feature code is going to be used to collect objects such as curb and gutter, silt fence, anything that you want to report the linear length of. So if you're familiar with the data prep course that we produced and you may have taken already, or the takeoff one, I'm going to use the same data set as an example. So in that project, we had a 1B curb and gutter and a 1A curb that were part of the project, and we want to know what the total length, basically as building the total length of each one of these curb types was installed out on our project. So we're going to create those two linear features first. So I'm just going to move this out of the way. And what we can do here is on the feature library, the as-built basic, there's some properties here that you can fill in and stuff, but we're going to leave those basically the way they are. I'm going to right click and I'm going to create a new category first. The category you can see is the name. So this is why I said have properties over here, because the name in this case is, I'm just going to call this curbing, and that's going to be the category. Now within that category, I'm going to right click and I'm going to create a new line feature definition. This name is going to be curb or curbing, and actually I'm going to call it curbing 1A, and then the code is going to be C1A. Now I'm using C1A. Typically I use 3 characters. 4 characters is probably, the best. Anywhere between 3 and 4. 3 is best. Try to stay away from 2 if you can, or definitely not 1 character, but something that makes sense. So like C1A, they know that it's curbing type 1A. I mean, you could put in curb 1A like that, which would also be acceptable. I'm just going to keep it short and call it C1A. The category is curbing, that's what we have here. And then the layer, we want to be specific as well. So in my data prep, I have a prefix called DTM or STK. For as-builting, I'm going to create a prefix called ASB for as-built dash, and we're going to call it curbing. And I want to be specific. I want this to be 1A for the type of curb. And then for my color, I'm going to go ahead and let's choose green. We can give it a weight if we want, so I'm just going to set that to 2. We do want to protect it, and then we want to put it into a group layer. You'll see here we're going to create a new group as well, and at that same time I'm just going to come over here and we're going to call this as built is going to be the layer group. And that's pretty much all we have to do there. So I'm going to create these one at a time just to show you how you go about doing this. So I've got that layer, the color by layer, all this is good. The field line style, I'm going to leave as solid. And then the label style, we're not going to put a label on it. The point itself, we want to include in the surface, that's fine. We can put a label style. But what I want to do is I want to put these points on a layer as well. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to create another layer for this. And this is going to be, I'm going to call it curbing points or as-built points basically, right? So for my new layer here, I don't need to separate the points. So I'm just going to call it ASB-points. And basically, those are just going to be all the point objects for the lines are going to go to this particular layer. I'm going to protect that, and we'll go ahead and put this on as-built. I'm going to close that. So now that sets up the name, the code, the layer it's going to go to, and whether or not that point's in the surface, as well as what layer those points are going to go to. Just going to move this up a little bit. So you don't have to really accept or do anything because it's just you're modifying the properties. If you look over here, I've got that curbing 1A. Now, what I can do here is just right click on this and I can create a copy. So I'm going to copy the one I did and I'm just going to modify it. So I'm going to do the 1B. I'm going to change the code from it incremented it. I'm just going to change it to 1B. It's going to go to curbing. And then for the layer, I'm going to come in here and we're going to set this to its own layer. So again, I'm going to do ASB-curbing-1B. We're going to go ahead and make that a different color. Let's choose blue. We'll give it a thickness as well. Let's make it, this one's going to be 1B. It's going to be my curb and gutter. Let's make it a little bit fatter. And then we're going to protect it. And we're going to put it on the same group. So the group and protection is going to be the same. You just want to make a unique layer for each item that you're collecting. I'll click OK to that. And then this will stay the same. It's just changing the layer. So that's pretty much it. Now we've got our two curve types, our two linear features, and you can do this for other objects as well. I'm going to create another category and we're going to do our pavement areas in another category. We're going to create different categories for each object. So we'll show those in the following videos.